Hey everybody. I am wearing my super extreme gamer headset that is all glowy and shit because we are practicing social distancing and staying home and self-quarantine in our house, um which means my introvert ass doesn't really have the kind of absolute alone time that I like right now because Sean is home all the time because we're being healthy. So I've got my headset on to pretend like I am alone, and he has his headset on to watch movies so that I can continue to pretend I'm alone. He's doing a great job. So yeah, coronavirus. Fuck. Um, it's been like I know it's been beyond stressful for all of us, especially in the States where this is really just ramping up. Like over in Europe and uh, Asia and the peninsulas and all of that, they've been dealing with this a lot longer. And but for my fellow Americans, um, this this last week and a half has been the longest 10 years of my life. That's the best way I can explain it. So we were going to go to Emerald City Comic Con. We try to go every year. We love it, and it got postponed for very good fucking reason. And at the time that it got postponed, I didn't fully understand why the virus was so dangerous. I hadn't done a lot of reading on it, but I knew it had, by that point, had been labeled a pandemic, and I know what a pandemic means, and so it made sense. I didn't understand that I didn't know that the reason it was being called a novel virus is because it means it's a virus we don't know what the fuck it does. Um, and I know that now. I'm like, oh. But also, I would much rather have to change my plans to keep people well than to continue on my plans, knowing that it could make people very unwell. And leading up to the postponement of Emerald City, our plan was still to go. If it did not get postponed or canceled, we were going to go. Because we did the research of the information that we knew then. And we weren't in a danger group, and we know how to wash our hands, and I have a face mask from Zog masks that I have from my allergies. So if I was concerned about illness, I was ready to use that. And then, it got postponed. And so we went, okay, let's do something else. We have this vacation time planned. And we spent 2 days at the coast in Astoria, Oregon. And at the time that we booked and went, so this was like Wednesday the 12th, the situation was definitely changing, but the information that was being provided was don't be in large groups. Don't go to big public gatherings. I think at the time that we got in the car and drove to Astoria with Bean, we were being told no gatherings of larger than 50 people. Astoria is a tourist town, but it's off season. And so I was like, I bet it'll be pretty chill. If we happen to run into a crowd, we can just avoid it. And it was very, very quiet. We were in a little 2-bedroom house. We had no contact with any of the neighbors. We had Bean with us, and so we were looking for places to sit outside, and it was, not a lot of people were outside. We had a very nice dinner at a lovely little bistro that, they were setting everybody about every other table. So there was social distancing even before we knew we needed to do that. And so we had a lovely time. And we stopped at a creamery on the way back and discovered that Bean hates goats and alpacas and peacocks and guineas and chickens. They have a petting zoo. And I went inside to get something to drink and to get a couple of cheese samples. And the creamery was practicing good safety protocols. They did not, usually when you go in, they have the cheeses you can try and the toothpicks. All that was gone. All of the deli sandwiches were pre-wrapped and in a cooler rather than just getting it made while you stood there. The little cafe they have was closed. I mean, and I was like, okay, so this has changed since we went to the coast, but this is all, it's good that they're doing this. They're being careful. They understand. And we got back to Portland on Friday afternoon. Sean went out Friday night to go play Magic. And he came back and he said, yeah, the crowd was smaller and they're wiping everything down. And, the bar is closed. The shop that he plays at has a little bar. But, it was pretty okay. And then I think it must have been, it was like Saturday or Sunday, I swear to God, that suddenly it went from wipe everything down, wash your hands, small gatherings, to stay the fuck home. And then my anxiety just spiked for about 3 days, and I did not do much. I kind of sat there and was like, okay, I will stay the fuck home. I can stay the fuck home. That's really easy. I'll just sit here on the couch and play my game and read my book and not have a lot of, upper level thoughts in my head. And that cleared. Yay. I started adjusting, which was good. I am very grateful to my group chat for being patient with me, for my various group chats for being patient with me, as I just sort of folded into myself for a few days to reset my brain. And then we went from, con being postponed to no gatherings of more than 50 people, to Sean's quizzes being canceled for the foreseeable future, to my work asking all employees to work 10% less so that we can keep the doors open because 3 of our major customers cannot pay us right now. And before my company, I work for a very small company. It's less than 100 employees. Before my company requested that all of us employees take this financial hit, all of the leadership team, upper management in other parlance, got together and they all took a 20% pay cut across the board. So I appreciate that. I really do. When I'm watching these massive corporations that absolutely could be better supporting their employees in the middle of a pandemic. My company is doing the very best they can, given the size of us. I don't know. So here's the thing. I don't actually know what anybody on my leadership team makes, but I actually have the ability to go and look. They are completely transparent about it. I know where the file is. I've just never opened it. So I could go right now and do the math on on how much they're losing. So I really want to stress that as part of all of this. I know right now trusting the people you work for is incredibly difficult, and I am beyond grateful that I do trust the people I work for and that they have time and again proven that they are trustworthy to me. My previous job, yeah, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm glad that I'm healthy enough that I'm not deeply, deeply concerned about getting sick as long as I practice the quarantine stuff I'm being asked to practice, so that people who aren't healthy as I am can be better protected. When my endo was at its worst, I was sick constantly because my body was so overworked. If I was still in a massive endo flare, I would be terrified of how susceptible I would be. I have friends who are immunocompromised. My parents are in the danger zone of elderly people. They're both heavy smokers, or they were until recently. If all I got to do is stay my ass home, I'll stay my ass home. And I'm seeing people still ignoring it, and I just want to, like, God damn it, babies, we gotta be kind. I mean, just going full Vonnegut on you for a second. We gotta be kind to ourselves, to the people around us, to the whole situation. And if you need to get out of the house and do something because you are healthy, do something for a neighbor. So at least if you're going to the store to pick up, groceries that you don't need, you're at least helping someone who can't get out of the house. You know, or find ways to do shit. Like, I'm so frustrated by the people who aren't taking it seriously. And like, I have the Nextdoor app because train wreck syndrome. And there are people who's like, I can't believe this guy got banned for questioning how serious this is. Like, why is the government overreacting? And I'm like, they're not overreacting. This is just the only thing we can do because we don't have a vaccine for this. Penicillin doesn't fix this. There's like, the best thing we can do right now to keep everyone safe, to keep as many people healthy as possible, is to stay the fuck home. And the thing about it is a shelter-in-place thing, which is, we're about to do it here in Oregon. It's like, it's going right that direction. Shelter-in-place just means stay home, but like, you can still do stuff. You can still go grocery shopping as long as you keep the 6 feet apart. You can still walk around. Like, if you live in a house with other people, you can still do stuff with them. Like, you can go for walks together. You can, all run to the store as a group. Although, honestly, do not run to the store as a group. If one person can go to the store and get all your shit, let that one person go, because that's less chance of picking anything up. But I digress. Anyway, you can, we can still walk the dog. We can still talk to one another. We can still be side by side doing things because Sean and I are in the same household. We sleep in the same bed. We eat the same food. We drink from the same milk carton. Social distancing is for people who don't live in your house. So, like, we have upstairs neighbors. They're lovely. We don't hang out enough with them for them to qualify as our household, so we're all staying the fuck away from each other. But, I'm still cuddling up to my husband. We're still sleeping in the same bed. The dog is using us both as a blanket. Like, you can still do these sorts of things. It's just, when people hear quarantine, in what I'm experiencing, from Nextdoor and from stuff I'm reading, they think that they have to stay home and never leave, and that's not what this is. This is not that kind of quarantine. This is a softer idea of quarantine, where, like, you need to basically stay home from the stuff that you would do for fun, but you can go for walks, you can do other things. You just have to make sure you keep a distance between yourself and the people you're seeing. So yeah, that's what it's been like week 1 for us, and we're kind of getting to the point. Yesterday I was like, I need introvert time. I need you to walk the dog alone. I need you to leave me alone in the office. I need you to pretend like you're not here. And Sean has answered the call admirably, and we're doing that again today because I still need introvert time. And I'm very, very glad that he and I have always communicated like this, because, there's this joke about how many people are going to get divorced after quarantine, but, like, there are certain types of conversations you don't realize you need to have until you find yourself suddenly, like, in this situation where it's like, oh, wow, we've never really had a problem before, but now you're home every night of the week, and there's not an easy way to, like, be home in my own space and not have you nearby. So I really encourage you, if you are also dealing with sort of, I need my own space, just set up times and ways to pretend like you're not in each other's space. Be in separate rooms with headphones on. Be on separate ends of the couch with your headphones on. It's totally fine to need that space. It's just that Sean and I have always been very honest and blunt in our communication, and so This is just more of that. Here's my big gross romantic tip. Because I turned to him, I'm like, I love you so much, but I need you to leave me the fuck alone. And he was like, okay. So, like, just say I love you a lot. Like, make sure it's clear that, like, you love them. But dear God, you just need an hour where you're not breathing the same exact air. It's difficult. It's difficult. So that is how quarantine week 1 is going. I have my 4-hour meeting with my work team tomorrow, which is just gonna be like nails on a chalkboard because I've not had like actual alone time. The good news is Sean's day job is considered essential to public health. So he will be gone during the day. So I might actually stagger my work hours so that I can spend some time alone in the house just like doing stuff that I always do, whether he's here or not, but like having actual alone time with a book. So decadent. So there's all of that. And I mentioned, we're losing some of our income, which is very stressful for me. Money is a big stressor for me. I grew up dirt poor. And so I'm dealing with it the best that I can. I'm accepting that it's going to happen. I am listing all the things that are actually going to make it easier to save money, like we can't go out to eat. And we do order takeout, but we've been working to order less takeout, so we're already kind of in that vein of less takeout. And now that we have all this extra time, Sean is trying out things in the kitchen that he's never made before. So, like, we have all these things that we're doing to help save money. We've got plenty of movies to watch. We got plenty of TV shows to watch. I got plenty of yarn. We got plenty of books. Everything's fine. But, I have put it out there in various places that I do sell crochet patterns. I do crochet commissions as well, but I know that money is a major stressor for everyone right now. And so, but I've been sharing that, hey, I have crochet patterns, and I'm sharing those because, none of my patterns are more than $10, but then also it gives the people who buy them something to do while they're in this situation. And I think that that's very valuable as well, because I feel like, and I've had people be like, just post it because you need the help. I'm like, but I don't want to stress anybody else out. And this is my anxiety at work. So dealing with it, fuck it. I'm going to link my crochet patterns in the basement. I wasn't going to do that, but fuck it. They're going to be linked in the basement. Which is the little the descriptor box or whatever. So that, if you're bored, I have patterns you can buy that will help me financially and also keep you from being bored. I also have a YouTube channel for crochet that I'll link that has a bunch of free how-tos. So, if you just need something to do, I've got a bunch of how-tos. I've got book reviews. I've got tool reviews. And so, like, you can just watch me be a dork on my crochet channel for, like, 71 episodes, if you're just needing stuff to do. So that'll be linked below. The other thing I want to hit on, this was not meant to be like a big-ass journal entry about quarantine, but fuck it. It is what it is. That's what this channel is for. It's my fuck it channel. I want to talk to you really quickly about something deeply, deeply important to me that I think falls very much into taking care of each other in the midst of all this shit. So I have a long-standing hatred of multi-level marketing pyramid schemes. They're pyramid schemes. I know of one that is not, and I only know about it because my best friend fucking researched the shit out of it to be certain that it was not a pyramid scheme before they started buying products from it. And it's an essential oils company. However, it is not one I've ever heard of. If you want the name of it, I will check with them and get back to you. Because if you've heard of an essential oils company from anybody on your Facebook feed, that's a pyramid scheme, and it needs to be burned to the ground. So, anyway, I hate pyramid schemes. They're so predatory. They're especially predatory towards women in bad financial situations or guilting women who want to stay home with their children but maybe don't have the finances to really do that. It's I could do a 9-hour video on what's wrong with them. But the point is, they're super predatory and they're disgusting. And I don't believe that the people who have jumped, who are hip deep in them, who are not upper management, are necessarily bad people. They just need to believe that this thing that is eating all of their money and all of their time has a value to them. However, every single pyramid scheme that you've heard of, Mary Kay, LuLaRoe, Monat, Beachbody, there's one with pearls. Like there's a shit ton of them. Anyway, Arbonne is the essential oils one that's full of shit. Those are just like some of the big names. The way they get people to devote time and money and money and money and money to them is to basically get them into cult-like thinking of, I am doing this for myself and it's empowering to me, and if I stop doing it, it's not because this is set up to make me fail and get all my money. I'm failing my own dreams of myself. It's awful, awful stuff. And in the last couple of years, I have seen this big uptick in anti-MLM videos on YouTube, which makes me very, very happy. Because the more that you can learn about these things, the better you can protect yourself and protect your friends and your family. So I watch, I have a regular one that I watch by Kiki Channel. I love her. She's got a lot of compassion as she's talking, which is very important to me in these conversations a lot of the time. And then there are times I'm like, fuck you, fuck everything you do, burn it down. But she just did one on the 15th of March about a bunch of gross people, like especially gross people who are being especially predatory during this pandemic, who are saying, oh, you lost your job? Well, you can make some money from home with what I do. You can't. You literally cannot. And I'm going to post that particular video also in the basement so you can see the stuff that Kiki has put together on how these people are talking and how they're behaving. And it starts with a bunch of people having their big retreat canceled and crying about the fact, and then also talking like they might still go to Puerto Rico because they're healthy and their MLM keeps them healthy. Like, it's so, like, it's rage-inducing and deeply depressing at the same time because, like I said, these people are being predatory and awful, but at the same time, I have compassion for how they got tricked into it originally. When I was, I think I was 18 the first time I had an MLM it was Mary Kay. Mary Kay tried to recruit me, and I was like, I don't have $200 for a kit. And they're like, well, we have this credit card. And you can get approved for this credit card, and then you can put it on the credit card. And I'm like, but a credit card isn't real money. I still owe on the credit card then. But yeah, if you like that video that I'm going to share of Kiki explaining, her videos are great. But I just really want you all to be aware, especially if you're watching this having had a financial hit of any size. Just be very aware if someone approaches you saying, I have this great work from home opportunity that I have been doing. And ask for a link to the website. And the thing you want to find out, one, will you be an independent consultant? That's generally the term. Two, is it at all possible to just buy shit directly from the company, or do you have to go through the web page of someone who works there? If you click and they show you, oh, here are these products, and then you click the product because you're like, that looks nice. And then it says, find a consultant in your area, that's a pyramid scheme. Get the fuck out. Oh, LuLaRoe. Did I mention LuLaRoe is on the list? Because, like, I think LuLaRoe is probably the one that's best known for having imploded. There's a half-hour documentary by Vice that will give you a lot of information on that. That I'm kind of hot and cold on Vice documentaries, but that one was excellent. Really showcasing the human cost of pyramid schemes. But, you know, I have one person, I think, who has been going through pyramid schemes for a few years who has never approached me because I've been very, very clear on how I feel about things. But I know that, you know, if you're on Facebook, you probably have more than one person who's doing some sort of pyramid scheme, and they won't listen to you telling them it's a pyramid scheme. They have answers to that are bullshit, but it's bullshit they believe. But you knowing how to spot a pyramid scheme is, I think, a very important thing to have right now as we continue to be concerned about our health and our finances and just that whole thing. So I mean, I just don't, I wish I had more advice because that's just how I am. I want to have answers to help people, and the best answer I have is please stay the fuck home and be kind to yourself and look up, maybe there's got to be a hobby that you've been curious about that you haven't gotten to yet. And I bet you can find tutorials on YouTube. And that can be something you do for yourself that could be very, very helpful. So that's a big part of my advice. And just be kind to yourself, be kind to your community. We're all in this together, even if we can't be physically together. So just take care of each other. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. And it's okay to be scared. It's fucking weird out there right now. All right. I'm going to sign off. Hopefully, I'll remember all the links in the basement. And